Afrodescendant man respect pledge. Prayer. No more division need exist between us, Afrodescendant woman and Afrodescendant man. We are here to heal the wounds which led to our separation. We hear your cries, and we say we are here to protect and love you as we should have been all along. Perish the thought we will take you for granted one more moment, my love. Anyone who is brave enough to disrespect you, we shall punish. The love we have for you is the love we have for ourselves. Without you, we could not be, and we must answer for all of the damage we've caused you. You are the mother of civilization and the beloved of our hearts. We offer you our humblest apologies and declare to you and to the world, we are made new. You are the teacher that we first had. You are the nurse that soothed our fears in the darkest of night. We want you to have a better life. We are bringing it into reality. Generations to come are dependent upon us working as one. Through the knowledge of our new identity and the creation of the Afro-descendant nation, we have the forethought to prove our love is true for you. Fear with paralysis of action, accompanied by self-loathing, produced the slave, the nigger, the colored man, the Negro, the black man, the African American. But they are forever gone. Afro-descendant woman, as your Afro-descendant man, we hereby pledge that we are the civilized man you may trust. A nation can rise no higher than its woman, said Allah's last messenger, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him. Afro-descendant men, do we treat our Afro-descendant women as the mother of civilization, or simply as a field where we produce ourselves? Afro-descendant men, are you providing the proper care, consideration, and compassion for our Afro-descendant women? On the other hand, Afro-descendant women, are you providing the proper care and compassion for Afro-descendant men? Past and present conditions of relationships of Afro-descendant men and women will be examined in three areas: behavior, respect, security.
Our ancestors suffered the worst Holocaust in human history.
ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy. Ship ahoy, yeah. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy. Ship ahoy. As far as your eyes can see, men, women, and baby slaves coming to the land of liberty, where life's design is already made. So young and so strong, they're just waiting to be saved. Oh, I'm so tired, and I know you're tired too. Look over the horizon, see the sun shining down on you. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy. Ship ahoy, yeah. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy, ship ahoy. Ship ahoy. Can't you feel the motion of the ocean? Can't you feel the cold wind blowing by?
We came in chains through the murky waters of the Atlantic and the bows of a slave ship, buried, devoid of light. With the captured ones, boy, girl, woman, man, you had your lustful choice. Horrendously dangerous voyages, sanctioned by the world to be right. Your plan to Christianize and civilize our ancestors perpetuated slaughter. You planted seeds of religion to deny us the expressions of basic dignity and humanity. All the while, you were using Tricknology to put your hands on an African daughter.
No more auction block for me. No more, no more. No more auction block for me. Many thousands gone.
The filth that produces the filth. Holy Quran 7:27. O children of Adam, let not the devil seduce you, as he expelled your parents from the garden, pulling off from them their clothing, that he might show them their shame. He surely sees you, he as well as his host, from whence you see them not. Surely we have made the devil to be the friend of those who believe not. This happened to the black people who followed Yaqub from Arabia. He pulled off from their original stuff, their clothes of righteousness and the clothes to cover their shame, and then made them to go nude in the hills and cave sides of Europe until the birth of Moses. You are warned. You believe you are safe in following the invitation to evil and filth of the white race. Wait and see. Identity. As it was on the old slave auction blocks, Afro-descendant women today are being paraded on fashion runways naked, sold to the highest bidders in Hollywood and Madison Avenue. We have decided it must end. This practice of denigrating the Afro-descendant woman led to loss of respect for her in the world, making her insecure in her relationship with us, the Afro-descendant man. In the hip-hop game, some artists lost all sense of self-control and decency, giving the Afro-descendant woman no value in the way they address her in conversation with one another. These examples of hip-hop performers, male and female, do not deserve to have their faces shown. 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, NWA featuring Ice Cube, and the legendary Two Live Crew with Luke Skywalker, to name a few. Eve, Nicki Minaj, Lil' Kim, Megan, Miss Megan Thee Stallion, now known as Megan the Three Stallion, her accomplice in crime, the incomparable Cardi B. And let us go old school, Missy Elliott, and the first female rapper we just lost, the boss. Tricknology of the slave master's children is at fault. It's the reason we're fighting. If there need be a rap genre, then create a new rap style that does not degrade the Afro-descendant woman. Elevate her. A nation can rise no higher than its woman. Justice. Do for self and the familiar cry in America of freedom, justice, and equality came from Messenger Elijah Muhammad. He gave 44 years of his life to lift us up out of the mud of civilization. He showed us how to have real success in life. He taught that heaven is a good home, a good job, and friends in all walks of life. Peace be upon him. Are you surprised that Allah, the God of righteousness, will bring in a new world after the removal of the God of evil? The term of office of the God of evil is up. Are you surprised you will have to accept a change, he said? Here, have some more food for thought. Digest this, please. You have heard the words, history means his story, and justice to mean just us, haven't you? If not, hear what President Lyndon Baines Johnson said on June 4, 1965 at Howard University's graduation.
And it is the devastating heritage of long years of slavery and a century of oppression and hatred and injustice. For Negro poverty is not white poverty. Many of its causes and many of its cures are the same, but there are differences. Deep, corrosive, obstinate differences, radiating painful roots into the community and into the family and the nature of the individual. These differences are not racial differences. They are solely and simply the consequence of ancient brutality, past injustice, and present prejudice. They are anguishing to observe. For the Negro, they are a constant reminder of oppression. For the white, they are a constant reminder of guilt. But they must be faced, and they must be dealt with, and they must be overcome. A largely successful effort to emerge from poverty and prejudice. The Negro, like these others, will have to rely mostly on his own efforts. but he just cannot do it alone. For they did not have the heritage of centuries to overcome, and they did not have a cultural tradition which had been twisted and battered by endless years of hatred and hopelessness. Nor were they excluded, these others, because of race or color, a feeling whose dark intensity is matched by no other prejudice in our society. Nor can these differences be understood as isolated infirmities. They are a seamless web. They cause each other. They result from each other. They reinforce each other. Much of the Negro community is buried under a blanket of history and circumstance. It is not a lasting solution to lift just one corner of that blanket. We must stand on all sides, and we must raise the entire cover if we are to liberate our fellow citizens.
You say in your book,
Okay, let's
and
get
I'm
to it.
quoting you,
Come on.
okay. The black man in America is the only male on earth, including every continent, who is disrespected by the women in his nation.
That's true.
This situation does not exist anyplace else among the billions of people inhabiting our planet except here in America.
That's right.
The other black men, the yellow men, the red men, the brown men, and the white men are all honored and respected by their respective nations. All other women recognize and accept that the man is the authority, the ruler, and the leader. Only here in the United States, in the black nation, scattered throughout the United States, is the black man neglected. That's pretty powerful.
Little less than 2/3 are at home with both of their parents. Probably a majority of all Negro children receive federally aided public assistance sometime during their childhood. The family is the cornerstone of our society. More than any other force, it shapes the attitude, the hopes, the ambitions, and the values of the child. And when the family collapses, it is the children that are usually damaged. When it happens on a massive scale, the entire community itself is crippled. So unless we work to strengthen the family, to create conditions under which most parents will stay together, all the rest, schools and playgrounds and public assistance and private concern, will never be enough to cut completely the circle of despair and deprivation.
The trouble we face cannot be overcome by the white man. He cannot do what we need to do for ourselves. The chapter about behavior is about to close. We want to talk about justice. Respect is something that is not limited to gender. We shall suspend the talk of the Afro-descendant woman and focus on the Afro-descendant man. Shahrazad Ali again is sharing the following information.
We have been displaced. A lot of us don't really understand what slavery actually did to us and how much psychological trauma it did to us regarding what our proper roles are with each other, what our responsibilities are as man and woman in our various communities and relationships. We have never been debriefed from slavery. Not really. We have just, we know we had that history, but we don't know how it affected us. We don't know how much of our actual culture we lost, how much of our ideas were taken from us. We know that our religion was taken from us. We know that our names were taken from us. But we don't know how many other standards of day-to-day life have been removed. And while we have adopted the American way of doing things, they have not worked for us because we have a very special situation. We are not the same as everyone else. And a lot of the people who want us to pretend that slavery didn't exist or to forget about it, they've never been a slave. So they don't know what we're going through. They don't know what this has done to us. It has made us as black women insecure.
With Afro-descendant women being insecure, as Miss Ali said, is an uphill battle for us as men and her as women to come together. The wedge placed between us was done by the Europeans to exploit us for financial gain, also under the common deception of teaching us about their God, supposedly to make us a better people. It was in truth all untruths to deny us basic human rights. Their evil destruction of us was accomplished by the enslavement of our ancestors. The world knows we were worked without mercy for over 400 years and did not receive a penny for our labor. We know it is part of a devilish plan by our open enemy to have us serve him forever and never, ever have full and complete freedom in a land that we can call our own. The various systems the European devised was to deny us basic human rights, but they no longer will keep us docile. We are here today to say we are Afro-descendants. The term Afro-descendants refer to a people who were forcibly dispossessed of their homeland, Africa, were transported to the Americas and slavery diaspora for the purpose of enslavement, were subjected to slavery, were subjected to forced mixed breeding and rape, have experienced through force the loss of mother tongue, culture, and religion, have experienced racial discrimination due to lost ties from their original identity. Again, we go back to Miss Ali.
Why not take up for us? Why not write something that says
we've had
we need
everybody
that?
to take up for us, and we've always had books about black women, how great and how strong we are, and we are that. I'm just saying that we have used our strength in the wrong direction. We have used it against our men instead of standing up for them. And if we start to support our men and to speak a good word for him publicly, then so many people won't be able to come against him and tear him down, and he won't have to feel so frustrated, and he won't be outside away from us looking for peace of mind with women of other nationalities, because we actually want our own black man. We need him back in our homes, and we want to have one. We're just living in a culture where they're trying to convince us that not only do we not need a man, but there are some other options to having one, and those options mainly are celibacy or lesbianism.
We must have a thorough knowledge of self to survive this war of Armageddon. It is the final war, as you know, between God and devil. The rest of the world has been influenced by the arch-deceiver. The arch-deceiver orchestrates deception. We have yet to understand we were discovered by that unusual man who picked one among us and gave him the knowledge of self. The entire planet took notice of the former slave because of the teachings of Messenger Elijah Muhammad. But it all disappeared, didn't it? It is a fact, and it was supposed to happen that way, or we could not rise from its ashes like the legendary phoenix does in mythical literature. Incredible as it sounds, in reality, Silis Muhammad had come from Los Angeles, California, and stopped in Phoenix, Arizona, to prepare himself for a battle. August 21st, 1977, Silis Muhammad arrived in Chicago, Illinois, to resurrect the lost, found nation of Islam. His act single-handedly caused the second rise of the lost, found nation of Islam with his declaration of spiritual war. Silis Muhammad restored the practice of contemporary Islam to the slave descendants and has continued to work on our behalf from that day forward. Silis Muhammad discovered in fighting for our human rights that we needed to be recognized by the United Nations as slave descendants. We did not exist on the world stage. We were effectively subsumed by the people of the United States of America and did not exist as a people. The United Nations defines a people by three elements. 1, their mother tongue or language intact. 2, they have their ancestral culture that was defined by their ancestors centuries ago. 3, they have their ancestral religion determined by their elders of centuries past. Message to the Afro-Descendant Woman and Man is the title of our presentation to you. We've tried to give you an understanding of how we got here in the change, how we were sold on auction blocks, and how we see our women selling themselves on the runways in strips of tape. As Afro-descendant men, we are no longer going to be silent. We direct you to the Honorable Silis Muhammad, who is leading the battle for our independence. Afro-descendant women and Afro-descendant men, we are at odds with one another, and we pretend to not know why. We are determined as Afro-descendant men to have freedom, justice, and equality for self in a land that we can call our own. Afro-descendants and all others, we pray that you listen carefully to one who is wise, speaking to all of us words that are sure to be heard, like the ones that began the American Revolution. The Honorable Silis Muhammad made modern history on February 25th, 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia, at the very beginning of his annual Savior's Day lecture, Strange Fruit, a Bitter Crop, with a pronouncement to our open enemy as important as the shot that was heard around the world.
It is to your benefit, let this go on, past you. I'm talking to the white man now.
Yes, sir.
It's to the white man's benefit to bless our departure.
Sir. Yes, sir.
For the whole wide world to see.
Yes, sir, Savior. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We want our new name, nationality, identity to be Afro-descendant.
Yes, sir.
That's what we want.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
The Afro-descendant, that's what I signed on with.
Yes, sir.
To the UN, along with 18 other nations in the diaspora.
Yes, sir.
We are 28 nations. The UN, the United Nations, helped together all black people together.
Yes, sir.
After I heard, or they heard me.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's right, Savior. Yes, sir.
We got together, 19 nations along with me, and we came up with the name Afrodescendants.
Mr. Muhammad's first words to America is, she should let the world know that she has released us from our sojourn of suffering at her hands, and not to do it quietly. He said that the world needs to see it and acknowledge it. Our last part of this documentary is about security. We want security in our relationship with you, our Afro-descendant woman, and you want security with us as your Afro-descendant man. But you know as well as we do that in America it will not happen. We have been made other than self. And as Mr. Muhammad reminisced, he said,
There's a note here in my notes. This reminds me of that scene of Kuti Kinte. You remember him? Yes, sir. He was beaten by a white man telling him that your name is Toby. My name is Kuti Kinte. No, your name is Toby. The white man not only beat Kuti Kinte, beat the identity out of Kuti Kinte as to who he was. He beat us all. Your identity is Afro-descendant. We have been bound. We now know who we are, Afro-descendants. It is the life we have in common, Afro-descendants. I searched the records for where and the name of the first man who founded the meaning of the term nationality. I wanted to know, did God give us a nationality? Or how did we get the name? A nationality, where did it come from? At best, I found two men discussed an issue while drunk. And they discussed the same issue while sober. It was uncovered that people who look somewhat alike and live in the same area and share in similar things are said to be of the same nationality. This is spoken from an American mind. Now, we're looking to our intelligence density and well-intelligent minds, well-trained minds of black people, like my wife, Queen Masaki, Harriet Abubakar Esquire, my daughters, Amel, who was a school teacher, and Amira Esquire, Julie Walker Esquire, Gerwa, Dr. Akila Mokaram, Dr. Tahida Sabri, Malik Zulu Shabar, Esquire,
Yes, sir.
and those who have extremely educated physicians, the doctors, lawyers, judges, and upper-class administrators to help guide our government. Our lost-found youth, our children. I, Silis Muhammad, am only to call you to be born again. You know that term. In a new nationality. That's my job. Is to get you into a nationality and identity. Once again, born again, awaken again. Will you help me?
Yes, sir.
All of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right, yes, sir.
Here is where we as Afro-descendants living in the Western Hemisphere have been so confused. To help us be born again is what he said he was trying to do, and asked for the help of all of us as descendants of plantation slavery. The Honorable Silis Muhammad spoke sincerely about what caused him to give of himself to us, and we hear it now.
For just as I gave up my dreams when I first saw him, so everything that I believed that I would do in my older life, when I first saw him, I gave all of that up. It appears to me that when he first saw me, he is making some decisions as well that I'm able to see now that I didn't see back then.
We, as a people, have the power to change our destiny. As producers of this documentary, we recognize with so much insecurity in today's world, the best we could offer you is peace. Silis Muhammad said years ago, "Speak the truth perfectly as you know it, and practice righteous conduct without spot or blemish, and you would have heaven." This last section begins with Miss Ali giving a blistering report of sorts on the man.
Well, I think I need to preface my response first by saying that none of us can really conceptualize. We really don't have those types of clues to the kind of psychological trauma that black men have experienced as a result of racism. And certainly I wanted to discuss our critical points of view so that I could get us out of the way. As black women, I wanted to talk about what we do and how we have responded to his needs so that we would clear the way to discuss himself. The purpose of the Black Woman's Guide is to try to teach black women some of the reasons that he is in the condition he's in that has nothing to do with us. And I certainly maintain that his problem has not been racism as much as his inept reaction to it. It has become an embarrassment to us. He does not have a program for us. And he does not have a program for his children. In every civilization, a man's son is the greatest gift God can give him. It has no relationship at all. He's not only disassociated from us, we are frightened, we are scared, we are vulnerable, we are left to have to turn to you. It is very natural that we would be attracted to the white man since you have more power and authority over our life than he does.
She levels her stinging criticism against the black man, and the men in the audience are laughing initially, but they soon realize our disconnection from our woman is a serious issue. What better way to see a man than through the eyes of a woman? And what better way to see a woman than through the eyes of a man? She called them incompetent, and they are smiling.
Let me understand this now, so that for a black man living in a white society, you see the tradition, one of a kind of longing to be like the black man, like the white man, and, and an effort to be
accepted.
Accepted.
Well, it's more so like a parent-child relationship. White men have been the foster parent to black men. Although they've been an abusive parent, they have been the foster parent. And so consequently, now that relationship is in turmoil because the black man is longing to go free, except he has lost any rationale or logic about what it is to be free and how to reclaim his position as man over us and father to his own children. And so that's left him in a very desperate situation that we no longer have any pity for.
Opens the door for us to understand the stereotypical roles that pervade the world about Afro-descendant women and men. You hear some say, go ahead, but to what are they referring? The clips of Miss Ali were from 1993 on the Phil Donahue show, and the men in the audience are not in the same mind as the men now. Having seen us killed repeatedly, the Say Her Name campaign, the death of George Floyd, and the list of others have made us all but numb to the death of ourselves, much like when our ancestors were on the plantation. Has the slave master's children been like surrogate parents to the Afro-descendant man who now wants freedom? We would not be good reporters if we only pointed out the problems with the relationship of the Afro-descendant woman and man. Pay careful attention to the wise one amongst us who has the answers we seek.
Mother of Jesus. Not Jesus himself, but the mother of Jesus. The last messenger further stated, I have to say in quotes, but I don't want to be so smart and taking over naming the people. That's Messenger Muhammad talking. He don't want to be so smart and taking over naming the people. We was named Lost Town Nation.
Yes, sir.
What are you talking about, Messenger Muhammad?
Make it clear, sir.
You are saying you don't want to be so smart and taking over the naming of the people. I thought we was Lost Town Nation.
Yes, sir.
You mean another name?
Make it plain, sir.
Quoting a quote again, I expect him here soon. And I don't want him to come and catch and find me taking over his job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
naming the nationality of you. The new people. Messenger is not speaking of the great Mahdi establishing a new name for you. A new nationality, which you do need, like the French, German,
Yes, sir.
British, they got their name. You are a lost found people, but that's not your real nationality.
Listen.
We are lost found people, but that's not the name of our nationality. That's the people that have been lost from their home, lost from their nationality, lost from their identity, but heritage. But now that you are found, what's your real name? Messenger is saying he's not going to name the people. Our racial identity was lost. Said by the messenger.
Silis Muhammad led the charge for us to go to the United Nations by asking his wife, Harriet Abu Bakr, Esquire, to learn how to gain entry there for him to make interventions on our behalf. This she graciously did, and shortly thereafter a new name was given to the lost found. It is Afrodescendant, and we have the Afrodescendant nation for you to explore. We are not to be disrespected by anyone anymore after having studied at SMU, Silas and Mashaki Muhammad University. No longer will we allow the Afro-descendant woman to be disrespected. No longer will we allow her to disrespect herself either. Our unity is the answer to all of our ills that are the lingering effects of plantation slavery. Holy Quran, Maulana Muhammad Ali, English translation and commentary, Chapter 9, Immunity, Section 10, verse 73. We read, O Prophet, strive hard against the disbelievers and the hypocrites, and be firm against them. And their abode is hell, and evil is the destination. Recently, the Sounds of Blackness re-emerged with a song and a video that should be heard at this time.
We got to have a hope.
It is powerful imagery in the video. All we are saying is that you know inside of yourself, we have a righteous cause as we demand from the slave master's children the payment for the labor of our ancestors. We have enough intelligence to know that we can't go to the U.S. government itself and say, pay us, because they will only keep us waiting and waiting. Afro-descendant woman and man, it is time to exercise your right for self-determination. We have a legal right to do so, like all the other people on the planet Earth. Production credits. Message to the Afro-descendant woman and Afro-descendant man. AMXI Productions, Khalik Shi Hanif. Videographer. Producer, editor, Malik Shabazz Ali. Invisible Man, courtesy of Afro-Descendant Media Research International and Invisible Man 733 Presents. Thanks to the OJs for Ship Ahoy and Sounds of Blackness for Woke. Special thanks for the use of video from Roots and Amistad, The Phil Donahue Show, and Miss Shahrazad Ali. A very special thanks to Mr. Silis Muhammad and Miss Mashaki Muhammad. A nation can rise no higher than its woman.